Here is the lampstand from the top of page 33. The base of the lamp is a triangular prism with an equilateral triangle base. The surface of the stand is to be painted. What is the area that will be painted? Give the answer to the nearest whole number. So here we have a triangular prism on the bottom and a cylinder that attaches to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of the cylinder first, and then we'll deal with the triangular base. So I'm just going to move this down a little bit. So what we're going to do, and again, if you need to pause this movie at any time, please feel free to do so. We're only given the diameter once again of the circle, so we have to find the radius. Radius is half the diameter, so I need to divide the 4 centimeters by 2 to give me a radius of 2 centimeters. We know that the area of a cylinder is of a circle is pi r squared. So we have pi times 2 centimeters squared. Again, I must do exponents before I do my multiplication. So I'm just going to get my calculator out. I know that 2 squared is 4, and 4 times 3.14 is 12.56 centimeters squared. Again, we discussed in class that the area of this rectangular prism is the circumference around the circle, which is 2 pi r, times the height of the rectangle, which is h. So I have 2 times pi times my radius, which is 2 centimeters, plus my height of the cylinder is 30 centimeters. And I get 2 times 3.14 times 2 times 30. And I get 376.8. And again, it's centimeters, and we're dealing with area, so it's squared. I'm just going to double check my calculations before I move on. And I get 376.8. The area of the bottom circle here is the exact same thing as this area. So I know that the area of my base is also going to be 12.5 centimeters squared. So I have area of the top circle, area of my rectangle, area of my bottom circle. So I get a total area of 401.8 centimeters squared. And again, I'm going to just make sure I have it calculated properly. So 12.5, there's 2 of them. I'm just going to times it by 2, which gives me 25 plus 376.8 gives me 401.8. Now the triangular base is a little bit more difficult because we have an equilateral triangle, so we know that all these sides are equal. However, we are only dealing with right triangular prisms, so we need to cut this in half and drop a perpendicular to the base. Since this side is equal to that side, and if I drop a perpendicular, I know I am cutting this bottom piece or this bottom length in half. So I know now that I have a 15. If I separate the two, I got 15 centimeters on the side and 7.5 centimeters on the bottom. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to find the height of my triangular base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Pythagoras theorem. So there's my right angle. I know that that is C. This is my B. And this is my A. Remember that the legs of the triangle don't matter. They can be A or B. So I'm going to go off to the side here, and I'm going to use my formula. A squared is equal to C squared minus B squared. And I have 15 squared minus 7.5 squared. Again, I'm going to show all of my work. So I get 225, which is 15 squared. 7.5 times 7.5. I get 56.25. I do my subtraction. 225 minus 56.25. I get 168.75. And that's equal to my A squared. I should have been dropping all of these, so I'm going to do that right now. In order to get rid of the square, I have to do what's opposite. And reviewing from 1.1 and 1.2, I take the square root. And that is equal to 12.99. So I'm just going to round it to 13 centimeters. Okay, I got an answer of 12.99038, so I'm just going to round it to 13 to make our life a little bit easier. So this height is 13. So now I'm going to transfer all of my dimensions over to here. So now I have a hypotenuse of 15, which was there. My height of my triangle is 13. Whoops, wrong one. So my height of my triangle was 13. My base was 7.5. And the height of the triangular prism, I have to go back over here, which was 3. So I go over here, and this dimension is actually 3. Now I have all of my dimensions that I need in order to make my triangular prism. So that's 13, that's 15, these are all 3. We know that area of region 2 is equal to the area of region 4. So let's start putting in our dimensions. The dimensions of region 1 are 3 by 13, which gives me 39. My dimensions of region 2 are 13, which is my height, and 7.5, which is my base. I know that I'm going to have to divide by 2 because it is a triangle. And let's do that. 13 times 7.5. Make sure you press your equal sign and divide by 2, which is equal to 48.75. And I know my region 2 and my region 4 are the same, so I'm just going to put that down here. The dimensions for region 3 are 3 units by 7.5. So I have 3 times 7.5. I get 22.5. I'm just going to double check. Make sure that that's correct. 3 times 7.5. I got that. And I have 3 by 15 in my region 5. My dimension is 3. My dimensions are 3 by 15. So that's equal to 45. I add up all of my dimensions now, all my surface areas. So 39 plus 48.75 plus 22.5 plus 48.75 plus 45. I get 204. Okay? So I'm just going to double check this. So I get 39 plus 48.75 plus 22.5 plus 48.75 plus 45, 204. Now, keep in mind that we have two of these, because what we just did was we actually just found the area of one of these triangular prisms, because we had to cut it in half in order to find our height. So we actually have two of them here to put them together. So we actually have two right triangular prisms. So the area that we found, we actually have to multiply. Well, that is the same area as my other one. So this was my first triangular prism and my second triangular prism. Okay? So what we have here is we have an area of my cylinder, which is 401.8. So I'm just going to put that down here. Plus 204, which was the surface area of one of our right triangular prisms, but we had two of them. Okay? Now, we have to talk about our overlaps. So what we're going to do is we actually have two overlaps here, because we have a circular base that overlaps between the cylinder and the triangular prism on the bottom. So we know that this is the area of my base. So one of my areas of overlap is 12.5 centimeters squared. Okay. Now we also have another overlap, because these two also overlap when you put them together. Now that's going to, oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong one. These two right here are actually going to overlap. So when I actually put this side and this side together, that area is actually going to overlap. So we actually have to look at this, whatever this area was. And I can't believe the phone just rang. So I'm just going to ignore my phone. So it's actually going to be this area here that's going to overlap. So that area actually was region 1. And now we can actually go and finish our problem. So we have 401. Too funny that my phone actually had to ring on this. This is 25, 2 times 12.5, and this is going to be 78. And now we can actually do our calculations. So 401.8 401.8 plus 204 plus 204 minus 25 minus 78. So I get 706.8, and it was centimeter. Was it centimeters? I just want to make sure. Yeah, centimeters squared. I'm just going to double check my work. 401.8 plus 204 plus 204 minus 25 minus 78. 706.8.